Savings accounts, remember, is something that's a little bit more permanent than like a checking account. Everybody with me so far? Okay, and what do you get on a savings account that you usually don't get on a checking account? Interest. Is it possible to get interest on a checking account? There are certain credit unions and banks. I remember one time I got an account at a credit union and they were like having a special, like they actually have like, I know it feels weird, but they have like a special or a sale at a bank where they're like, hey, if you sign up right now, you get this special rate or something like that. Have you seen those commercials where they're like, right now, sign up for an account, blah, 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 blah. And one time I signed up for an account that had interest on a checking account, and they'd give you interest on your checking account every month, which is great, but I ended up switching banks for a different reason, mostly because of a mortgage that I was getting on my house that had a much better rate. But it was interesting. So I guess it's possible, but not common. Okay, so we've got two definitions we're doing today, principal and simple interest. Anybody know what a principal is? Hanson. That is true, and it's even spelt the same way. But a principal is how much you have in your bank account before you get interest. So it's like the original amount. And this word is used the same way when you take a loan. So like in this case, interest is good for you. Like suppose you have $8,000 in your bank account, you start with $8,000, that's your principal. Then you get some interest, that's good for you, you get money. Now you have more money in your bank account. Everybody with me? However, if you have like a loan that you're paying back, the principal is how much you originally owe on the loan, and the interest is bad for you because you're paying the bank to be able to borrow that money. So you're paying them interest. But it's still the same concept both ways. In one, they're paying you, and one, you're paying them. Who do you think charges more for interest? Do you think it's going to be that the bank charges more for a loan on interest, or that a bank gives you more money on a savings account? Right, because they are a business, which means they are constantly trying to make money. That's their job. They're not a charity. They're not there just to help you. Now, does anybody have like a friend or a family member who works at a bank or credit union? Yeah, they're not bad people. None of them are individually bad people. In fact, a lot of them individually are trying to help you a lot. The guy who's going to come talk to us is a loan officer, and his job is to help farmers, get loans. But he's also part of a business. So he's not going to be like, I really like you, you're my friend. You know what? Don't pay interest on this. Like, he's going to still charge you interest. That's his job. But he is going to make it as easy for you as possible. But he's also a professional. That's his job. What I would like to do is I want to do an example of simple interest. I don't think you have any extra room on this sheet, do you? So can you just pull out a piece of notebook paper? You're also going to need a calculator, so go grab your notebook and a calculator. And we're still going to write on your vocab sheet, so don't put that away yet. Oh, coffee is so good. Raise your hand if you like coffee. Okay. Did you like coffee when you were a kid? When you were like younger?
Depends on how much I could have stole from my grandma before she realized it had to make more.
Nice. So yes, I hated coffee up until I don't know, high school when I needed to start waking up. literally needed to start waking up. I had this awesome professor. You want to hear a really fun story? I had this awesome professor who was a physics professor in high school, and he was weird. Chemistry professor, he like had lost feeling in most of his fingers from like different chemical accidents and stuff. His name was Mr. Standen. And every morning I had AP Bio with him in the morning, and he would, I'd walk in my senior year with an empty mug and like a look on my face, and he'd go, "Coffee's in the back, Nussbaum." And I would go in the back, and he'd have a beaker that was boiling with like one of those big beakers that was boiling with coffee in it, and I'd like grab the tongs and like take a beaker of coffee and like pour it in my mug and then like put it down and be like, "Thanks, Stan," and he'd be like, "Yup," and like that was my everyday, which now sounds very cool, but in the morning I was just like, I hate being here. I don't know why I have to wake up every day. I would rather die than be here. So kudos to you for being here, because I know that it sucks to wake up in the morning and learn about simple interest. But hopefully it's not the worst way to start your day. Okay, so simple interest. Let's see if we can figure out a good example. I want everybody paying attention to this. Everybody write down principal. We're going to say that your principal is $8,580. What is a really good rate for a savings account?
3.5.
Huh? 3.5 is a great rate for a savings account. Let's do that. You know what, let's make it interesting. Let's make it 3.56%. Now, simple interest means that they give you interest once a year. So at the end of the year, whatever's in your bank account, that's what they give you interest on. So simple interest is one time. You get interest one time, usually per year. So let's say that you have this for 4 years and you leave it alone. How would I calculate how much interest you get? Anybody have an idea? John?
The principal times 0.0356 times 4.
Yes. So if you take your principal, which is $5,800 or $8,580, and you multiply by the rate, which is 0.0356. So that would tell you how much interest you'd make in 1 year. But then you're going to do this for 4 years. And it's not compounding, it's just simple interest. What did you guys get? Mm-hmm. Okay, now explain this to me like I'm a child. This right here is less than what you started with. This is how much what? This is how much you make. This is the interest. So if you want to find out how much is in your account now you take the $8,580 and add it to the interest. 122,179. So now your bank account has $9,801.79. I'm going to write total in your account. John, go get a price. Thank you. Okay, so let's write what John